All right, ladies and gentlemen, after the Blue Dragon shenanigans, we are now at the place where it's time for the main course. I'm looking forward to any and all cinematics, so without further ado, let's just get into it, right? And may I just say, before we get into it, did I not tell you guys that this is not the final cinematic? I'm pretty sure I said so. I would prefer if you guys apologize to everyone that lost their minds going, oh my god, it's the worst cinematic ever. How does Blizzard end a fucking tier like this?
What?
They didn't, as I said they wouldn't. I didn't know at the time. I was copying like fucking hell, but still, I'm gonna take the win here. I'm gonna pretend like I always knew. This was obvious to me, right? So let's go.
May his name be ever remembered.
After what he has done, why treat him with such respect?
He was Drakthir, and his memory will be a lesson. Instead of helping our people heal, he led many to despair and ruin, chasing the illusion of Neltharion's power.
If only Sarkareth had taken Deathwing's tragedy to heart, and understood that his legacy was poisoned long ago.
It is time for the Drakthir to make our own path.
Where do you hope it will lead?
Far from the shadows of the past that have haunted us, and free to build a legacy of our own. To a future you inspired me to believe in, Abyssian.
Even the most painful moments have something to teach us.
Neltharion was my teacher, my father, and my commander. I aspired to lead the flight as he would have, unable, or perhaps unwilling, to acknowledge the true malignancy of his vision.
I never knew Neltharion. Only Deathwing, invading my nightmares, reveling in the certainty that I would become as twisted as he was.
That is not who you are, my brother.
I thought my destiny was to guide our flight to its future. And I shall, but simply as myself, not as an aspect.
Nor shall I seek that mantle.
Oh shit, boys! Oh shit!
It would seem your days of hiding are over for good.
I am humbled. May your trust and faith in me guide my every step. For today, we emerge from all the shadows that sought to sow doubt and shame within us. The Black Dragonflight's legacy is ours to create.
It hits hard because unlike Sibelian and Rathian, Abyssian was always humble. Abyssian was the only one that didn't want this. He had no interest in becoming the Black Dragon aspect. And yet, what I like about this is how, at the end, when both Sibelian and Rathian finally understood their father's legacy wasn't a good one. And more specifically, in Dragonflight, it's been revealed now more and more that Deathwing was never good, right? There was a very tiny amount of time, like a fraction of time, where Neltharion was actually good. He fell to the Whispers very, very soon after becoming the Aspect. And even in the Dawn of the Aspects book, it's heavily implied that he heard the whispers of the old gods even before he became an Aspect. So the fact of the matter is, he fell so quickly after it that what Rathian and Sibelian was chasing after, the thing that they were hoping to achieve, wasn't ever there, right? He was never what they thought he was. And this makes the Razageth cinematic hit even harder. If you remember what Razageth said to Rathian in the beginning of, like, the very first cinematic, when Rathian told her, I had hoped to lead my flight as my father would have, or should have, right? The legacy of my father. And Razageth was like, what legacy are you talking about? Right? As if I had no idea like what he was even referring to. So it makes it hit even harder. I like the fact that both Sibelian and Rathian gave the power to Abyssian. If I were to point out a couple of things, like just a couple of, I guess, issues that I might have with this, the character arc for Rathian and Sibelian was very quick. It was very quick. Moments before this cinematic would have taken place, Rathian and Sibelian were still basically fighting over who's going to become the aspect. They were still sort of marred in their own, like, arrogancy and their own way of wanting to do things. And I don't know if one conversation like this would necessarily ever be able to get someone out of that mindset, but the conversation is good. It's very emotional. I do have to say that Blizzard seems to, somewhere they decided, instead of focusing on massive action-filled cinematics, they're instead going to focus on these incredibly emotional cinematics. It's a little wild that they decided this and that it's hitting so well. This one left me with a little bit of a, you know, frog in the throat. There's a little bit of a no, I'm fine. You know, it's all good. I'm not emotional. It's fine. Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. Good job, Blizzard. Terran Gregory is on fire.